Hi, this is Jo from the Kaizen Revolution and jojoevi.com, and this is part 3 of your training, and this is how to map out your product, your idea. So by now you should have gone through the pig generator and come up with some fab ideas, and then you've tested them and validated to make sure that they are something that are going to make money, because you don't want to rush ahead and make things that no one's going to buy. So you've been through the validation process, which might not be the most exciting thing, but it is very important. And then you've decided which one you're going to work on. So you might have 3 or 5 ideas that you absolutely love, but you need to just pick one and work on that first. If you have several ideas and you try and do them all at once, everything will get muddled and you'll not learn how to do the whole process properly. So you need to just pick one and focus on that first, and then you can always go back and repeat the process with your other ideas. And so what's the next step? Let's see. The next step is not to panic. So if this is the first time you've done anything like this, you'll probably want to be applying CPR to yourself by the end, because there are a lot of steps and it is quite a long process. But I'm not going to sugarcoat things. There are a lot of steps from your initial idea to the sale, and it does look like a lot of stuff to do. But if you break it down into itty bitty steps, it's totally doable, and you can do it. And you know, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of people out there doing it, so there's no excuse. But what often happens is the outside world sees, look, Jo is writing a book, because I've announced it on social media that I'm writing a book. And then a few months later, it's like, oh, Jo's published a book, I'll buy it. And what they don't see is the process from A to B. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So that's what I'm going to go through today, is what you need to be thinking about. And I recommend taking notes as you go through. And mark anything that you're not sure about, that you think you're going to get stuck on, whether it's like the tech or whether it's a certain section of the process, because they are the things that are going to stop you from actually finishing. So if you know beforehand that this is going to worry you, that you're not really sure what to do, mark it up and hit me up in the group and ask questions, because I can help you get over that step. Right. So these are the sort of things that people usually get hung up on. This is the things that I hear the most. So first of all, I don't know where to start. You've got this brilliant idea, but I don't know how to get it out there. So that's a very big one. I don't understand the tech. You know, what is a funnel? What's a list? How do I make a fillable PDF? What's a compressed file? How do I use Trello? Do I need Asana? So there's a lot of tech stuff out there. And I know it gets very confusing, and you hear all this lingo and jargon and you're like, but what on earth is it all? So don't worry about it. We can explain it all. Just breathe. Another one is, I don't know how to make a PDF pretty. So often a PDF is the first step. It's like the easiest route, if you like, to get on this road. And often PDFs are used as a freebie as well if you're trying to build your email list. And it's not that difficult to do, it's just people get very hung up about it. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. It's really, you can do it. Another one, I don't know how to set up a sales page or a website, or what's a URL, what's hosting. And that is quite a big thing, but what I hear a lot of people thinking is that it's going to cost a lot of money. Yes, you need to pay for your URL, it's like $10. And you probably need, depending on the course of action that you're going to take, you'll probably need some kind of website. But it doesn't have to be expensive, and you can totally bootstrap and do it all yourself. You don't need to go out and hire a fancy designer. Especially when you're starting out, you just need something simple and clean and up there. And if you stick to the basic rules of not overcomplicating things, keeping everything simple, you sorted. And then I don't know anything about marketing, Facebook ads, finding my people, what's an ICA. Marketing, again, is a big area, but you don't need to worry about it. You know, you can get there. Everything I'm going to tell you about today, you can learn. You don't need to be an MIT tech genius to use the tech these days. A lot of the tech these days is very much designed for users to just get on, users that don't know what they're doing to get on and be able to do it. So really don't get stressed about all that. But like I said before, as we're going through today, if there's specific areas that you are thinking, I have no idea what she's talking about or how to do that, mark it with a star and let me know so I can help you move forward. So at the end of the presentation, I'm going to explain to you how you can get your hands on the full roadmap with the checklists and exactly how to get all the bits and pieces that you need to get your idea from here to out in the open world. Okay, so back to step one, don't panic. I've got your back, and I don't mean to brag here, but I'm going to anyway. But my business is built on multiple income streams. And I have paper books. They're on Amazon. You can get them in the bookstore as well. I have Kindle books, which are only available on Amazon because Kindle is Amazon's. Ebooks, and when I say ebook, I mean a PDF book rather than a Kindle book. PDF packs, so I have sewing patterns and educational materials. I've got an email course, I've got e-courses, which are courses that are online, so you log into somewhere and watch the information, a bit like you're doing now. I also use affiliates and advertising, and what I'll be getting to soon is the Kaizen Revolution membership site. So I know the process of putting all this together and getting it out there. I have bootstrapped everything that I've done so far in my online career, and I do it all myself. I always want to know how everything works, so I always do it myself the first time before I outsource. So I know all the steps that are included and I know how to do it, and I can teach you to do it too. So step two is that you need the map. Now, I prefer to reverse engineer everything because it helps you set up a timeline and it gives you a clear overview of what you need to do and how to get there. So this is kind of in reverse order. So first up, you need to think about follow-up and customer service. So for example, say you're going to make a $20 product. It's going to be the bottom end of your income scale, and you want it to be hands off as much as possible because it's a low end product, and you want to be charging your time for money for, you know, like one-on-one services or more bespoke services. So when your buyer has finished their $20 product, you need a way to get them from that to your next product, or, you know, further up in the payment system. So you need to think about that. And also customer service, you know, if something goes wrong or something breaks, how is all that going to be handled? Now, all this is going to be different depending on your passive income idea. So I'm kind of generalizing here. You know, if you use a service like Amazon or Zazzle, like a print-on-demand service, then they deal with the customer service. But if you are setting everything up yourself on your own websites, then you are the customer service as well. So it's something you need to think about. Okay, the next step, backward step, remember we're going backwards here, is how will your content be delivered? So if you are doing it all yourself, you've got to find a way to deliver the content after the payment is made. If you're using somewhere like Etsy, then that system is set up. You just need to upload the files and they will download. Etsy does it all. They deal with it all. If you are using something like Amazon, like I said, that's all. They'll deal with the content delivery. If you're going to host, say, a course and you're going to do it on Udemy or Teachable, then that's already up there. It's sorted, you upload your videos there. But if you've got your own website, then you need to find a system of uploading your videos to the website or embedding them or whatever. So your final content delivery needs to be thought out. Okay, one step back is your payment processing. What kind of payment will you take? Are you going to use something like PayPal or Stripe? Do you want to take credit cards? Again, this all depends on which route you're going to take. Obviously, if you're going the Amazon route, they process all the payments for you and then they pay you at the end of the month. Etsy, you get the payment. Etsy's just changed, but yeah, it depends which country you're in. It's a bit complicated with Etsy. But basically, you get the payment once the payment's gone through. But you've got to have a way to be paid. So you need to be thinking about the whole payment process. The next one, sales page. So how to write your sales page, what are you going to have on it? Photos, do you need photos of your product? And when we went through the validation process, the previous video, you should have been taking lots of notes. And a lot of that information is going to be useful when you come to your sales page. So you can go and look at your competitors, see what they've missed, look in their, the complaints or whatever, and see what you can improve on. And that all needs to go into your sales page. Okay, before your sales page, you need to beta test. For goodness sake, please beta test. I know I didn't when I first started out, and excuse me, that was a mistake. I learned from my mistakes. So always beta test, always test the whole process to make sure it all goes running to plan. And beta testing can be a bit hard because people will tell you, oh, this sucks or that doesn't work, and that can be kind of hard, especially when you're starting out and you've poured your heart and soul into something and then somebody turns around and says, oh, that sucks. Try and think of your beta testers as people who are helping you to improve your product. They are helping you. They're not knocking you. They're not telling you your thing sucks. They're actually helping you make it better. So if you go in with that attitude, you're more likely to get more out of your beta testers than you are if you're thinking, oh, they're just going to say it's rubbish. And it's far better for your beta testers who know they are beta testers that are helping you to make a better product than for you to put it out there for the main public and somebody come back and leave you a horrible testimonial or complaints or give you a rubbish rating or whatever. So beta testing, it's important. Sorry. Okay, next step backwards is making the product. So obviously this is going to be different depending on what exactly you are doing. So you'll need to look into the process of how to actually make the product depending on what it is. Whether you're going to make a digital product from your artwork, whether you're using a print-on-demand service, whether it's going to be a PDF or some kind of digital download, an audio file, maybe a meditation or something. So depending on which route you're going on, that will depend on your product making process. Next step is the marketing and branding. Now you might think this is all a little bit backwards, but actually your marketing and branding needs to become before you make your product. And so your branding is important because people get used to seeing your colours, your style, your fonts. So these need to be thought of right at the beginning so that you can stay consistent. So even if you decide to change your branding further down the line, that doesn't matter. It's not important. You just need to stay consistent for the product that you've got in mind. So if you've been in my tribe for a while, you know that I always use the same colours, I always use the same fonts, and there's a total consistency across my brand. If I suddenly started using, I don't know, colours that I don't usually normally use, lime green and pale pink, you'd wonder what on earth's going on, because there was no consistency with everything else. So I know there's going to be marketing people out there who, if they hear this, will be like pulling their hair out going, what? Just pick something. When you're first starting, just pick something. There is a lot of science, like the whole branding industry is a whole thing on its own accord. And yes, you can get sucked into it, and yes, it can be very time consuming, and big brands like Nike or Coca-Cola have picked their colours for certain reasons. But if you're just starting out, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you can change it. And if you're going to get hung up on your branding, you're never going to finish, you're never going to get anything out there. So just pick something. Maybe one good way to do it is pick a couple of different colour schemes, maybe make a vision board or something, and just ask your tribe, your people, not your friends, not your mom, not your husband, but the people who are going to buy from you. Because it doesn't matter what your husband thinks if you are selling to pregnant women, because he is not your target market. So, just ask your target market and see what they come back with. And again, when you are going through your validation, what kind of colours and branding were other people using? What is the norm? It is nice to get out of the norm sometimes, but at the end of the day, you don't want to go too far off the path, otherwise people won't connect what you're doing. Anyway, branding, I could go on for that for hours. And marketing. So you need to start talking about your product before you even make it. So Lewis Howes from the School of Greatness, it must have been a good 9 months before his book hit the bookshelves that he started talking about it. And he'd mention it in podcasts, you'd see him mention it in his newsletter, on social media updates. And a lot of it was just in conversation. It'd be like, oh yeah, I did the photo shoot for the front cover of my book this week, or oh, got really stuck on one section of the book, and so it was not like, hey, I'm writing a book, hey, I'm writing a book, hey, I'm writing a book. He was mentioning it on social media and making sure that everybody had it in mind that, yeah, he's writing a book, and yes, it's coming out soon. So you need to be doing the same. Mention it on your Facebook updates, mention it to your tribe, put it out in your emails that, a book is coming, and make sure people know that something is on its way. This is a double whammy. Firstly, it will help you to get the word out, and secondly, it will help you stay true to your goal. It will keep you accountable. If you've told a load of people that you're going to do something, you're going to have to do it, otherwise you're going to look like an idiot. So that's another good reason to be talking about your product before you've actually got it out there. The other thing with marketing is you need to start thinking before you're ready to put it out there on who you can contact and help to help you get the word out. So when I did the Montessori book, I had quite a big readership from my personal blog. I had a lot of contacts in the Montessori world that I'd made friends with over the years. So I already had a good network of people to ask for help. So when I came to do the launch, I hit up, I think, 10 to 15, I can't remember the exact number, bloggers in either the school, like the homeschool, Montessori, parenting kind of field, and asked them if they would like to do a review for my book. Sent them all a copy, so it cost me whatever it's, I think the printed copies cost like $3, and then the postage to send out to various people all over the world. And they reviewed the book and posted it on the blog, and it all came together with the launch. And because I did that, and because I'd been talking about the book from the start and mentioning it everywhere, it hit number one in every Amazon store. So I think there's 11 Amazon stores around the world for its category. But that wouldn't have happened if I'd written the book and then just said, hey, look, I've got a book. The whole marketing and launch is an important part of the process. So be thinking of that before you even, make your product. Right, the next section is mapping out the process, which is what we're doing now. And then validating your product idea, which you should have already done. And then, of course, your initial idea. So, starting from the beginning, we'll go through and I'll talk about it a little bit more. So your idea, this is what you've already done with your pig generator, and you can go back and use the pig generator system at any time. Now you've worked through it once, you know how it works. And you might find that you want to do a freebie opt-in, so go back and use your pig generator. It might be that you want to add another income stream. It might be that perhaps you want to team up with somebody and do something together. Let's go back and use the pig generator. Validation. This is where you researched and made sure your idea is available and it's going to sell. And if you have got a gap fill in the market, that's what you're looking for, then you've done your due diligence and research and you've looked into why there is that gap, because that is also important. You must do this. If you don't, you're destined to fail. And remember that passive income means that you're going to be doing all the work initially at the start of the project, and then you reap the benefits in the long term. So the Montessori cards and sewing patterns I put up on Etsy either in 2007 or 2008, and I still make sales now. And I don't really do anything, I don't market it particularly well, but I get sales every week from both. So think of the long term. Yes, it's going to be hard work initially, but it pays off in the long run. Mapping out the process, basically having a good idea of where you're going. If you don't know the routes that you're going to, you'll never get to the end. So I really recommend starting with something like an ebook or a PDF pack, because it's easy to put together and it's an easy process to get out there, and you can do it as a $10 item. It's not if you're doing something that's going to cost $200, then you're going to have to put a lot of work in initially, and it's a much more difficult route to get to the end, if you like. If you're starting out, I really recommend with starting small and building up from there. So there is going to be full training on how to do the PDF book in the Kaizen Revolution. And our first masterclass is with Chris Emery, and she is a rock star copy editor, and we go through the whole process of what it is to write an actual book, and she gives some great tips on making sure that your book writing process flows easily. So marketing and branding, I've just ranted about this quite a bit. So you need to start talking about it on social media, get people interested and excited. How are you going to market it? How are you going to drive traffic to the sales page? Are you going to pay for ads, or are you just going to hustle for free? Excuse me. Who can you enlist to help? What will your branding be? Colours, fonts, style, and you need that consistency for the whole of your product and the marketing. And I'll be adding templates for these into the Kaizen Revolution as well, so that you can get started really quickly and easily. Right, making the product. So as we're focusing on passive income products, your product will probably some kind of digital format, or you'll be using an automated process for printing. So if you're having a book, what kind of format will it be? Where will you sell it? Will you go the traditional route or print on demand? Editing, design, formatting, all these need to be thought about. Ebooks or PDFs, which software are you going to use? Is auto formatting okay? Images, is it fillable or not fillable? Editing, design. On the auto formatting, that is for something like a sewing pattern. So Out of all the digital products I've got, the sewing patterns are the only ones where I have A4 and US letter sized. And the reason for that is that because it's a sewing pattern and the pieces have to be a specific size to fit together, if you do the auto formatting, it screws up the sizing. So I had to design them twice, if you like. But if you are doing some kind of ebook, or it's a colouring page or something, it doesn't matter on the sizing if it auto formats. So that's something to be aware of depending on what your end product is going to be. Sometimes it needs to be fillable, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. So you need to think about all those ideas as well. If you're going to do some kind of e-course, are you going to have video, audio, email? How are you going to host it? Is it going to include PDFs? How will it be delivered? Will you deliver it weekly? Add a new thing each week? Are you going to put everything up there and people can go in and take everything all at once? And then all like the legal side that goes with it as well. So for example, the Clear the Clutter course, you can go into the website and see everything up there, but it actually gets delivered to your inbox every second day. You get a new challenge to do. The My Organised Chaos course gets delivered on a weekly basis. You get a new thing to do each week. Some courses, they don't allow you to see what's going ahead. You only get week 1 on week 1, and then week 2 is delivered, so you might want to do it that way. For the membership site, so for the Kaizen Revolution, you can go in there and pretty much everything is in there already. But we will be having new content delivered every month. So you'll get the new masterclass every month, you'll get new Kaizen hacks every month, you'll get new tech hacks every month. So you need to think about how it's all going to be delivered. Obviously, something like the Kaizen Revolution is not a passive income, because you need to be making new something every week, every month. So yeah. And what often happens with e-courses is that you'll deliver the content live the first time and have maybe live calls and things like that, which is the way that I did My Organised Chaos. And then after that, you can turn it into an evergreen course and people can sign up, and you don't need to be doing it live each time. So that also depends on how you set things up and how the content's going to be delivered. So that if you're going to do an e-course, there's a lot of thought needed in that. And not only how you're going to do it initially, but what you're going to do with it in the future. Because once you've made something, if it's digital, you can just keep selling it, You don't need to do it once and then redo it each time. Again, audio and video, so if you're going to do like a masterclass or like tutorial or something like a meditation, an audio thing, you need to think about the hardware and the software that you need, whether you need scripts, music, hosting, all that kind of thing. And things like whether you can use music legally. Yeah, so think about that. And then once you've got those ideas down, you actually make it. So I know this bit sounds very, very overwhelming, and it does depend on what it exactly you are going to do. So hit me up in the group if you're stuck and you've got questions, because I can help you out. I've done pretty much everything here. In fact, I have done everything here. I've also got a podcast, but not at the moment. So I know exactly what goes on in the process. Right, beta testing. Like I said, you always need to beta test your product, preferably with people who don't really know what it's all about, because they will be going in without a biased view and they can give you good, honest feedback. When you're beta testing, I do recommend you get some kind of contract in order, so that, especially if you're giving somebody something that is of value. So if you are doing a course, say, or you're sending somebody a book, make sure they know exactly what you're expecting from them and get it in written format. Otherwise you're likely to get burned, because there's a lot of people who will take something and then not follow up with what they're supposed to do. So get some kind of contract in place for that. Yeah, remember your beta testers are there to help you make the product the best product it can be, so don't worry when you get the feedback, even if it hurts a bit. And yeah, next bit, the sales page. So where are you going to sell your product? Are you going to do it on your own site? Are you hosting it on a marketplace site like Etsy? Are you going to do it through a print-on-demand site like Zazzle or CreateSpace? Are you going to have sales? You need to write your sales copy. So somewhere like Etsy or Zazzle, you're limited to what you can do. Their site is set up. You can actually write the copy, but you can't design the page like you can on your own website. So that is something that also to bear in mind. Pricing, this will go back to your validation work that you did. What are other people charging? What can you charge? What are you comfortable with charging? What is your market likely to pay for? Pricing, what's really important with this is not to project your own ideas onto the pricing. So you might think $50 for a hand-painted something is very expensive. But there are going to be people out there who think $50 for some hand-painted, unique piece of art is an absolute steal. So try and take your own projections out of the equation. You are not your customer. So what will your potential customers pay? Bonuses or opening sale prices and specials, are you going to have any of those? Which payment processor are you going to use? Terms and conditions, whatever you do, do not put anything up for sale if you haven't got any terms and conditions in place. You need to have your butt legally covered. And especially with digital products, and people might come back and say, I want a refund. If you don't have any terms and conditions, you're going to have to give them the refund, because you haven't said that there's no refund for digital products. So make sure you have everything in place. Again, go back to your competitors, see what kind of things they've got. What is the norm for this product that you're thinking of? If it's something like, if you're selling something on Zazzle or Amazon and they are printing the thing, they will deal with all that. If it's something like Etsy, then you've got to set up your own terms and conditions and how things will be shipped and all that kind of thing. So that is an ultra important one. Don't skip over it. And in the Kaizen Revolution, we have got a section on what kind of things to include in your terms and conditions. And then finally, your sales notifications. Now, this isn't that important really in the grand scheme of things, but this is my favourite bit. So getting some kind of notification on your phone when a sale comes through. Now, I don't keep my phone near me while I'm working because it's distracting. But I do love waking up in the morning and seeing a load of ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching signs. Or, you know, if I'm out at lunch with friends or wherever and you get the ka-chings coming through, it's a great feeling. So it's not needed in the process, but I think it's like the cherry on the top, if you like. So I use all my payment processing goes through PayPal, unless it's something like Amazon. So I use the PayPal app on my phone and I get the notification each time a payment comes through. So not totally necessary, but yeah, do it. It's worth it. Okay, content delivery. We touched on this a little bit. How and where will you deliver the content? Is it an instant download? Will it get sent via email? Do they need to log into a member site or something? Have a look at all these different options, what will work best for your product. And like I said, follow up and customer service. So what happens if a customer isn't happy? Your terms and conditions should cover most of this anyway. Does your content need some kind of follow-up, especially if you are hoping that this low-end product is going to lead into a bigger sale? And are customer queries dealt with by you, or where you host your products, or you're going to hire somebody to deal with it? I know a lot of people have a VA that deals with their customer service. So you need to make sure that if you're hiring somebody, they are on the same page as you on what is and isn't acceptable, that kind of thing. So back to step one, don't panic. So as you can see, there is a lot involved, but like I said, you need to do the work up front for a passive income product. And because it's a passive income product, you can do it at your own pace. You can fit it around the kids, you can do a couple of hours a week, whatever suits your needs. And I really do suggest, even though I've said you can do it, at your own speed and thing, that you set a goal and a timeline. And in the Kaizen Revolution, I have the whole goal setting section set up that I use with my In With the Boomers. And so I know this works. We had a 92% success rate last year using the same process. So if you need that help with the goal setting and getting the process set up so that you can, actually get things out there, this works really well. Okay, so are you ready for the next step? So if you are a brave soul and you're chomping at the bit and you're ready to take the next step on this magical journey, then buckle up. So some people will be thinking, what? There's even more? I've learned so much already, but not you. You know there's more. So this is the Kaizen Revolution, and I'm going to show you a few of the bits inside so you can see what's going on. So basically there is the goal setting, there are the hacks, there's a masterclass, there's the how-to section, there's the resources, and then if you want to upgrade and get extra help, we have the In With the Boom section 2. So goals. I know that goal setting is not a very sexy subject, but the only way to get stuff done is by goal setting. And this is the process that I've refined over the years. It's the one that I use. Anyone that's gone through In With the Boom with me knows that I check in every day and do this, and this is how I get stuff done. So if you're one of those people in my tribe that thinks, oh blimey, Jo's always putting new stuff out there and she's always getting loads of things done and she's got so much going on, and this is how I do it. This is the secret to how I get stuff done. So all the content is there and it's all broken down. There's 5 sections for you to do in the goal setting. Masterclasses. So we will have a new masterclass with an expert each month. The first one was with Chris Emery, who is a copy editor, and we have each masterclass is a video interview, and we'll have an action pack that's broken down into steps. So all you need to do is fill it out and then do whatever you've put in the book. So it's really, really simple and easy for you to follow along. My big goal is that the Kaizen Revolution is where you come to get stuff done and you do it. And so I want it to be as easy as possible. I'm not going to fill you with a load of fluff that's just, because who needs it? I'm going to give you the steps that you need to take to just go out and do it. So often when you do these big courses, and I've done a lot of them, there's a lot of fluff and a lot of stuff that you don't really need. I've whittled it down to the important stuff so you can just go and do. So each month we will get a new masterclass. I have got a huge pool of experts that I can tap into, and so we'll be having a new one each month. The next one, so July is Chris Emery, and August we'll have Di Coke, who is one of the one of the world's top compers, but she also helps big companies set up their promotions and all the legal side. So she's going to help with the masterclass in that. September we've got Sandra, who is a Facebook visibility master. So she is going to help us with that. And so as you can see, the the masterclasses are going to be really actionable, helpful people. Okay, next we have the Kaizen hacks, and if you've been in my tribe for a while, you will know these Kaizen hacks are itty bitty bites of things that you can apply to your home or to your business that you can do on a daily basis. So I am a complete nerd when it comes to productivity, and a lot of these hacks are things that I do and the things that I've taught my clients. And so you can just go in, you don't need to do them in order, you can just pick some random number, whichever number draws to you that day, and apply that hack. And as you can see, there's these little check boxes on the side on each page. You can go through and check these for your which ones you've done. So this is unique to you when you log in. So if you've done like number 2 and number 4, you check those off so you can keep up. Each time you log in, you'll be able to see where you're up to. Oh yeah, and the hacks, I'll be adding new hacks every month so that you can learn some new tricks and tips, and you can always be improving. The how-tos, so this is going to be the tech library. I'll be adding to this each month as well. This is the how-tos for WordPress, how to set it up from scratch, and then we've got extra bits like your privacy policy, terms and conditions, cookie policy, things that you need to have legally, and we'll be adding requests as well. And so what have I missed out? Oh yeah, we'll have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group that's just for the Kaizen Revolution. If you join the In With a Boom have their own group as well, because they have the daily check-ins and it's a bit more in-depth. And I have the resources page, and that is basically everything that I use or have used in my business, and I break down why it's good, or there are a couple of instances where I've explained what not to do. So basically you go in and see what I do and what I use to run my business. So in just 3 minutes you can go from having a rough plan, your pig idea, and you can have a step-by-step fill in and go guide to getting your passive income product up and running out there in the world. In 3 minutes you can go from dreaming of having a side hustle or extra income to having a goal with an action plan so that you can make it happen. So all it takes is 3 minutes, 180 seconds to make the decision to go from dreamer to achiever. And from having an idea for a passive income product to making the products come to life. So if you sign up today, you will also get the bonus, which is the passive income roadmap. And it's a step-by-step detailed action plan to break down all the steps that you need to get off the ground. It includes the checklist for a PDF product and the templates, and so social media templates and the templates on how to make your actual PDF. So all that will be included, and you can go and sign up now. The button is just below. So hit the button below the video to join. The process you'll be taken, you can choose whether you want to do the Kaizen Revolution or you want to take In With a Boom as well. In With a Boom is limited to 25 people. I already have some people in there, so there are limited seats. And I'm doing that because I want to be able to give everybody the full attention. It will never be more than 25 people In With a Boom. So you can choose. Kaizen Revolution is only $20 a month and you get so much stuff in there. But I want to make sure that you're not going to get overwhelmed. So there will be a overwhelm emergency kit as well. So that those days that you have where you're like, oh my God, there's just too much stuff going on. I show you how I deal with those days, because believe me, I have them as well. You know, I'm a mom, I've got stuff to do. And I will be including bonuses and extra training every month, as well as the masterclasses, as well as the Kaizen hacks, as well as the tech training. Each month I'll be adding more to it. So it's $20 a month, and for now the price might go up in the future. And if it does, then if you've joined now, you will only ever be charged $20. So click the button below and go and join. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can hit me up in the Mums That Rock group. You can find me on social media. You can email me. Just fire away. If you're not sure whether this is for you, ask me, because I'm not going to sell you something if it's not suitable for you. If you're wanting something and I can't provide you with what you need, I don't want your money. But if you are ready to get out there with your passive income, to have some kind of online business or online presence, then this is what you need. And it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to do it. So hit that button below, and if you've got any questions, come and ask me, and I will see you over in the group.